Hello and good evening, man. Just a quick review of last night's game, Spurs versus Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea won that game 4-1, and what an insane game of football that was, man. I mean, Chelsea Spurs, it always kicks off between the two, man. There's a massive rivalry between the two clubs. There's a massive rivalry between the two sets of fans. The players don't seem like they like each other. And one thing I noticed about this derby, right? Arsenal versus Spurs, that's always going to be the derby. I'm going to speak on behalf of Tottenham Hotspur fans. That's always going to be the rivalry. Like, it's a rivalry that the two teams are based in the same part of London. The support separates families. There's tons of families where you get, like the mum supports Tottenham and the dad supports Arsenal, and out of the siblings, one part of the siblings support Arsenal, and the other part of the siblings, depending on how many they are, support Tottenham. But yeah, it's just it's one that divides families. But because Chelsea and Spurs, location-wise, aren't near each other at all, really. I mean, in the London sense, because they're two clubs from two different sides of London, you don't really meet a group of people, a family, for example, that are both Chelsea fans and Tottenham fans. You very rarely see that. You find families that are half Fulham, half Chelsea, maybe half QPR, half Chelsea, I don't know. But you definitely don't see a family that's both Chelsea and Spurs. It just don't happen. There's too much hatred between the two clubs. So I doubt you'd ever see that. But yeah, man, it's a fiery fixture, man. And it always delivers. I knew yesterday was going to be a nuts game. I mean, just the first half alone. I mean, what was there, like 3 disallowed goals? I'm going to go through it. Tottenham take the lead. Deflected shot. I mean, the build-up play was phenomenal. It was. I can't lie. The Spurs, some of the football that Spurs play at times, and I hate to say this, is quite eye-catching. And yeah, so they go 1-0 up. Again, breathtaking football. I actually thought the Spurs were going to go and spank them, to be fair. But Chelsea held on. They held firm. Son nearly put them 2-0 up, but the goal was disallowed for offside. I feel like if that goal was given, I feel like you would have seen the floodgates open. I think Chelsea might have wilted after that, and Tottenham would have just smelt blood and went and scored 3, 4, maybe 5. But yeah, credit to Chelsea. They came back into it. I can't remember which one came first. Udogie, man, but this is what I'm saying about the rivalry, how fierce and vicious it is, because it feeds onto the pitch and it feeds onto the players and the managers. And Udogie put in a 2-footed challenge that, in my opinion, he was lucky not to see red. It was dangerous. If that connected with Sterling's ankle, it would have took his ankle clean out, 100%. Luckily, Sterling managed to see it before it came and managed to jump out of the way a little bit. Caught him a little bit, but not too much. And yeah, Udogie got away once. He got away with a yellow. Chelsea thought Chelsea could have grabbed the equaliser straight after that. Sterling thought he scored, but that goal got ruled out for, I think it was handball. So yeah, that was that kind of livened up Chelsea a little bit, man, because they started to be fair, they started to show up after that Udogie incident and came back into the game, and they thought they could have grabbed the equaliser, but like I just mentioned, it was ruled out for offside. But yeah, they continued to pile on the pressure. And this is when it was 11 against 11 still. Then Caicedo, he had a very good game yesterday, I've got to admit. And I'm talking when it was 11 versus 11. But yeah, he puts in a wonderful finish from around about 20 yards into the bottom corner. But that goal also got disallowed. So that's 3 goals now that's already been disallowed. And yeah, that goal was ruled out for offside because Nicholas Jackson was in the line of the keeper's vision, and he was standing in the offside position. So that got ruled out for offside. But VAR caught Romero putting a ridiculous challenge on his countryman, Enzo Fernandez, and again it was just reckless, and that was his second yellow. The first yellow he had in the he had another yellow in the first half. I mean, Romero, what was he on, man? He could have got sent off for like 3 times in that game. He kicked out at I can't remember who it was. I think it was Levi Colwill. He kicked out at, and yeah, he was lucky to escape a straight red for that. Because by VAR just deemed as petulance, not violent conduct. So I don't know what that means really. Because either way, whether it's petulance or not, it's still violent conduct. But anyway, yeah. So Romero ends up getting a second yellow. Very, very stupid of him, and given also in turn he gives away a penalty. Cole Palmer stepped up, brilliant player. Just about puts the ball past Vicario. Vicario actually gets a hand to it, and the ball actually comes in off the post, and just ricochets into the net. And yeah, 1-1 Chelsea. What happened after that? I feel like so much happened in this game, man. I can't remember at what point. Yeah, well, Nicholas Jackson, he had 2 goals ruled out for offside. I think that came in the second half. At the start of the second half. It was basically the same movement. Sterling running through in the wing, puts through Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson standing in an offside position. The goal gets ruled out. That happened 2 times. It happened again. So it happened. So the same goal got ruled out twice for offside. Yeah, and then Udogie puts this. Oh well, I'm gonna go through it properly. Sterling's running through on goal. It's like a 3-on-2. It's a counter attack, by the way. Sterling puts through a pass that I don't understand why he put the pass there instead of where he should have put it. But basically, he tried to slip the ball in on his right hand side when I can't remember who was in space on the left. But there was a Chelsea player running through on the left. It might have been Cucurella, I'm not sure. But Sterling went for the other option, and I don't understand. To be honest with you, that was the complete wrong pass. But luckily for him, when Sterling tries to win the ball back because he misplaces the pass, and the Spurs player at that point, I think it might have been. Oh, I can't even remember who it was who intercepted the pass. It might have been Eric Dyer. But yeah, Eric Dyer intercepted the pass, and then as Sterling was trying to win the ball back, Udogie just takes him clean out. And then he gets a second yellow, and you can see it on his face that he was expecting it. Yeah, listen, Spurs lost their head yesterday, man. They really did. They lost their head. I mean, you can't say... I mean, you can't, like, discredit Chelsea because they were playing against 9 men. Because at the end of the day, Spurs... Whose fault was it that Spurs had 9 men? It wasn't like it was incorrect decisions or unjust decisions from VAR. They made stupid challenges and they got 2 yellows for both reds. So really and truly, they imploded. And that's how... And it's as plain as simple as that. So yeah, Udogie gets a second yellow. Yeah, Chelsea down to 9 men now, and this is a weird part of the game because Spurs went down to 9 men, but Spurs went down to 9 men, and for a period of like 20 minutes between then and when Chelsea got the 3rd goal, or was it between then and when Chelsea got the 2nd goal, sorry. Spurs was on top. Spurs was on top. It's like with 9 men. Like there was one point in the game. I was watching the game with a mate of mine who's a Chelsea fan, massive Chelsea fan. He's ecstatic at a minute. And I actually said to him, I was like, "How are you getting pinned in against 9 men?" Because there was a point where Chelsea couldn't get out of their box against a 9-men Tottenham Hotspur, and I just found that incredible. And I felt in that period of game, it was like a 20-minute spell between Udogie getting sent off and Chelsea scoring again late on, where, yeah, Chelsea really struggled they struggled to break down, or I wouldn't even say struggled to break down Tottenham, because they was getting through and behind them time and time again, as you would against 9 men. But they just couldn't finish their chances. They'll get to the final third, and then whatever move they was doing was completely breaking down. Sterling was guilty of that. I'm a massive fan of Sterling. I admire Sterling. He's someone I have admired from afar for a number of years. He's a player. He's someone I really like as a person and as a player. But I don't know, man. Against 9 men, he's one of the players where it stood out how much they lack in creativity. I mean, it was easy chances, and there was either being caught constantly offside or the move will just somehow break down when they get in front of goal. I mean, Mudryk, when he came on, I saw him run into, he ran into their full, like he ran straight into their fullback. It was just like, he had all the space in the world and to run into, but he ran straight into their Spurs' fullback. And there was another time where it was like an easy, simple cross. Because remember, they're against 9 men and he puts it straight out of play, trying to cross it. I mean, the moves just kept breaking down by them being either lacking quality in the final third or being caught offside. I mean, it was laughable the amount of times they were caught offside. I mean, dude, just like, watch your line, just like time your run. I mean, you're professional football players. I mean, Sterling, he was guilty of it a number of times, and this is an experienced player. So yeah, in that period of time, I wasn't really impressed with Chelsea. I felt like they struggled more than they should have against 9 men. And to be honest, I was watching that game. I was thinking next team that's bound to score is Spurs, not Chelsea. Like I was saying, I was watching it to my mates. One of them being a Man United fan, the other being Chelsea. Me and my mate, that's the Man United fan. We were just both saying we could see Spurs scoring next. If anything, it was strange, and they nearly got an equaliser. Well, they did. Well, they put the ball in the back of the net, but again, it was ruled out for offside, and Chelsea got really, really lucky. Really lucky. And then in the midst of all of that, Spurs lose Van de Ven. This is in the first half. I think this is in the first half. Anyway, I'm just so much happening. I don't know what was in the first half or the second half. But Spurs lose Van de Ven through injury, and it looks like a bad one. It looks like to me, like he tore his hamstring, and that could be, he could be out for a few months for that, and that's a big blow for them because Van de Ven is Tottenham's Saliba. So you wouldn't, no matter who your rivalries are, you wouldn't wish that on anyone. You know what I mean? It was a bad injury, and it's going to obviously derail his season and derail their season to an extent. Romero is now suspended for the next game against Wolves, which is a tricky game away from home. Wolves have picked up a bit of form as of late. Not sure what their result. What was their result on the weekend again? But they lost to Sheffield United. Yeah, so yeah, they're gonna be licking their wounds and they're gonna want to put in a positive performance against one of the big boys. But yes, but Romero again lost his head. I mean, the thing about Romero is when he's good and when he's on song, he's a great player. But when he's not on song and he's lost his head and he's rash, he's awful. With him, there's no in between. He's either 8 out of 10 or a 3. I mean, I keep hearing how good of a player he is, how good of a defender he is, but I just see him as a bit. I think he's a liability personally. I feel like he has way too many 3 out of 10s for him to be considered a top class defender, in my opinion. But yeah, so they're going to be down to the bare bones because, like I mentioned before, Maddison went off injured. That's a big blow for them. Big blow. I mean, I don't know at what point he got injured, but he had a little challenge. He had a little 50-50. It wasn't even really 50-50. I think he attempted to go past Reece James, and then I think he must have had a funny fall, but it looks like he's done his ankle. So yeah, man, a lot happened in that game, man. A lot happened in that game, and personally, I think Spurs kind of imploded. I mean, if they wasn't having players sent off, they was like losing players to injury. So either way, they were dropping like flies, and injuries are unfortunate. Don't get me wrong, and red cards are red cards, but these things happen on the basis of how the game has gone. Do you know what I mean? So obviously injuries is it's a bit harsh to say with injuries, but even so, I mean, when Van de Ven pulled his hamstring, he was in the foot race with Nicholas Jackson, who ain't no slouch himself. And once he put the burners on, Van de Ven's hamstring went. I mean, you know what I mean? So you could say, like, the run around they was getting caused them to get injuries and get 2 of their players sent off. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, I think Spurs kind of imploded, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of Ange Postecoglou we're going to be seeing now. What kind of Spurs team we're going to be seeing now. Because they've had a lot of things go their way this season. They have. They've had a lot of luck this season. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be where they are on the table because they're a good team. But no one can deny they've had a lot of things go their way. So now we're going to see how things are when they're not on that winning streak, when they're not on the good luck streak, if you can say that. They're going to have to bounce back off the back of a defeat for the first time this season, in the league anyway. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how they'll handle that. And this is where I feel like where we can really see what Spurs are about, because I kept saying, I don't think they've had a test this season until yesterday. And I'm not saying they haven't played hard, difficult games. I haven't saying they haven't played big teams. But in how many of them big games against those big teams have they actually had a convincing win? They haven't. They drew against Arsenal. No matter how you want to say they played, they didn't win the game. They beat Man United. Okay, yeah, fair play. But this is a Man United that's not on song. Hasn't been on song all season. The Liverpool game, do I need to say anything else? And yeah, yesterday they lost 4-1. So yeah, they've had a lot of things. Like, they've had a lot of things go their way this season, including the fixture list. So it'll be very interesting to see what Tottenham are going to do now. But going back to Chelsea quickly, yeah, I feel like there's still something missing there. Nicholas Jackson got a hat trick, so big up to him. Chelsea ended up getting 2 more goals in stoppage time, which sealed the game of 4-1. And yeah, I don't think it was a flattering result, really. I think that's just how the game went, to be fair. So Chelsea turned out 4-1 winners. Nicholas Jackson getting his first hat trick in the Spurs-Chelsea derby. Yeah, man. So yeah, I think it was a fair result. I wouldn't say it was a flattering result. I wouldn't say it was anything other than what Chelsea deserved. But I feel that they have to do better, because I feel like they're still missing that kind of cutting edge. I mean, any other team against 9 men, had that been like Arsenal or whatever, against 9 men, or even like a Newcastle against 9 men, it would have been more than 4-1. If Chelsea was able to convert all their chances, the game would have been probably nearly double digits. But we can all see they were nowhere near capable of doing that. So yeah, that's my review of the game. Exciting game. I do enjoy those games, as I said. But yeah, that's my summarization of everything. If you like the video, press the like button, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later.